Hey folks, it's Fernando doing another video for Modern Survivalists. Before I get started, my book Bugging Out and Relocating, which is available in Amazon, now it's available in Kindle as well. You guys asked for it, it is available in Kindle. I'm going to be leaving the link somewhere there below. $7.95 unless Amazon changed something there, but $7.95, going to be keeping it that way for a while, then it's going to be going up. So if you're thinking of getting one, suggest doing so now. Are you preparing or are you just wasting your time? That's kind of the topic in this video. I had just finished my book, Bugging Out and Relocating. When you write a book, you kind of go through a journey based on the different topics that you research and go through. And one of the things I noticed was the disconnection that I saw many times between what people think is survival and preparedness and what actually is. And in my book, the first part is bugging out, things that you have to do when you cannot stay wherever it is that you are. You have to leave your house because of a natural disaster, man-made, fire, foreclosure, doesn't matter. You just have to leave because you just cannot stay there anymore, right? The second part is relocating different countries, different states within US, but mostly the general methodology and criteria used to choose places to go to. But going back to the first part, bugging out, whenever I did research on that, I came across lots of stuff that really just didn't make a lot of sense. And you know this probably as well as I do. If you look bugging out in YouTube, you'll find lots of videos packed, people showing their bug out bags and such. You see a lot of camping stuff, you see a lot of bushcrafting, wilderness survival stuff. And you have to be honest with yourself about how practical and how real that actually is in the real world. If something happens, if I have to leave this house right now, am I going to be getting a backpack and heading to the nearest forest and live there indefinitely or for weeks at a time? Gonna be doing that, or am I gonna be going to someone else's house, maybe a family member or a friend that can take me in for some time till I get back on my feet? Which one would you be doing if something happens to your home, wherever it is that you are? How useful are those wilderness survival skills, which do have a place? Don't get me wrong, these are classic survival skills and such, but they have a place that may not be as applicable in the real world as other skills that are really not addressed at all, very often not addressed at all. And yeah, sure, you should know how to build a fire. You should know how to build a shelter in the wilderness. And in fact, depending on where it is that you live, the kind of lifestyle that you have, and what you do on your daily life. I mean, if you live in the middle of Alaska, you fly planes over the Amazon jungle every weekend, and there's a possibility of you ended up stranded in one of those places, these skills might as well save your life. If you're in the military, you're going to be being taught these wilderness survival skills. Now, on the real world where we all live, that's just not as useful. And maybe it's about focusing on things that we like because of other reasons, because we think they are fun. I like hiking, I like backpacking as much as the next guy. Don't get me wrong about that. I do love those things. But is having the latest, best survival knife gonna be changing some of the most obvious, most pressing problems we all face with? How about dealing with the problem of job loss? How about dealing with the problem of inflation? I can tell you right now, building a fire never did me any good when living in Argentina. Right? Yeah, sure, it did when I went backpacking and hiking and doing that sort of stuff. But when dealing with the real problems of life, with the real inconveniences of especially in Argentina, with a post-collapse economy and country in general, huge mess, which were the things that helped me? Guns and such, did that help me? Well, yeah, actually, to a point, yes. Being armed in some circumstances may as well save your life. Did it work? Did I find a use for it myself? Yeah, I did. I'm confident about saying that if I hadn't been armed in certain situations, maybe I wouldn't even be here. How about securing your own home security, a topic that's so rarely discussed. Again, we clearly tend to focus on the things that we find more entertaining and more fun. We find building fires, talking about knives, guns, and such, lots of pretty entertaining. We find our things not as much fun. Securing your house, having good doors and locks, and putting up a good alarm system, that's not nearly as entertaining or as much fun, but it is something that you are unfortunately going to be needing in the near future. I fortunately enough left Argentina, and since I did, it actually got worse than it was. But my experience in Argentina is just one person's experience. It doesn't mean that that's the solution for everything. But having said that, unfortunately, given what's happening in U.S., you're already seeing many of the things that we saw in Argentina. You're already experiencing many of the struggles that we saw in Argentina. The inflation is slowly creeping and chipping away at your quality of life. It's already happening in the United States right now. United States, fortunately enough, it's pretty big. Each state, it's almost like a little country on its own right. And depending on exactly where it is that you are, you may be seeing it more or less. But the inflation, the degradation of the infrastructure all across the United States, the reduced standards of living that you're seeing. Basically, we're talking here about poverty, guys. You're seeing this more and more. Again, some places may be better off than others. If your particular economic situation is very good, maybe you're not seeing it as much. But in general, most people are feeling this. Most people are having to deal with all these things, that all the fires, all the bushcrafting stuff, all the fishing, hiking, wild plants knowledge is not really helping you in any way. It's not helping you deal with bills that keep coming and you have no way of facing. It's not helping with you if you lose your house to a foreclosure or you cannot make your payments anymore. It's not helping if you have problems that are, clearly issues and things that you could have addressed, but you just chose not to address. One of you guys here was mentioning here in one of my previous videos. Where is it? Hey, you can eat now. You're withering away, because I lost a little bit of weight. I'm not withering away. I'm just eating healthier. If I look myself in the mirror, I see that I'm fat. If I step on a scale and see that I have 20 pounds on me that I shouldn't have, then that's something that directly affects my survival, without any doubt. But you see this a lot. You see, guys focusing on, oh, I have the latest survival knife, but you obviously have health issues that you're not addressing. You have the latest survival knife and you're splitting hairs and spending hours thinking of which steel is better or not, and making big points and trying to sound like some kind of expert when you're clearly not addressing the obvious health issue that you have. Going nuts over the neck knife that cuts paper better, and looking at the latest neck knife or knife that you have or whatnot, and you're not taking care of the obvious in-your-face problem of being overweight by a large margin, not a little bit, but obviously being in a position where your health is definitely compromised. Not even speaking here about the physical ability of dealing with many of the possible survival scenarios that could range from having to walk long distances, having to fight if you have to do so, defend yourself, having to work, do physical labor so as to provide for yourself and your family. And you're not physically capable of doing that. You're putting yourself in a position where because of not taking care of your own health, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars worth of medical bills that you could have prevented if you had practiced a little bit of realistic survival and preparedness. Folks, that's all for now. Just a few thoughts that I want to share with you guys. Again, the book in Kindle, you asked for it, it is already available in that format. So that's it, guys. Take care, have a great day. See you in our next video.